Both of you guys were crying when we were talking about this script.
This
So we succeeded.
100% not true. I never cried.
I'll take the hit.
Both of you guys were crying.
That is when you know.
I've cried once in my life.
And wait, it wasn't about this morning. It wasn't about this. It wasn't
when I was 2.
Welcome to another CG garage where the monstrous moon shines. We're building new Hollywood like in 1971's prime. From otters' bold dreams to AI's fever dream, where tech meets the silver or LED screen. Pixels and passion are pipelines unknown. 2 hosts, 1 show on a deadline postponed.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the CG Garage. This is episode number 558, which is going to be another one of our rough cut episodes. And this time we brought on Mr. Ron Cohen. Ron, of course, has been a big part of the Monstrous Moonshine journey. He is my rock, as I mentioned a few episodes back. He is actually extremely knowledgeable in the area of physical production and independent filmmaking, so I wanted his point of view on that specifically. But also we talked a lot about June, July and the production of that and how that went. So we really sort of break down some of the things that are going on. I figured to keep you guys apprised as to what we're up to here at Monstrous Moonshine. That being said, I just came back from Siggraph. Siggraph was incredible. We presented some of the things that we discussed on this episode at Siggraph, including the use of ray traced Gaussian splats that are fully relightable and how we ended up doing that, how we ended up scanning a house in Angels Camp, California, bringing it back to the LED stage and lighting it on fire. So kind of interesting and really kind of well received at Siggraph, got a lot of attention, and people are really excited to see what's going on in virtual production and Gaussian splats. So hopefully you guys are as well. All right, I don't really have any events going on. I just wrapped up Siggraph, so I am full go on a lot of other things that I need to catch up on, but hopefully you guys will enjoy episode number 558.
This episode of CG Garage is sponsored by CenterGrid Virtual Studio. Wondering why you went to film school just to be stuck managing hardware life cycles? CenterGrid delivers end-to-end GPU-accelerated cloud workstations built specifically for VFX and creative production, with flat, predictable pricing and personalized support from people who actually get your workflow. Plus, CenterGrid is TPN Gold Shield certified, so your studio's security is locked down. Check out what Virtual Studio can do for your pipeline at cgvirtualstudio.com.
All right, guys. This is good. We're going to have a little bit of a discussion we're going to talk about. We are going to talk about the industry in general. I think there's a lot of things to be said. We've discussed many things about AI, but I want to have Ron in this discussion because I think Ron, as you do every time, keep us grounded.
I try not to.
But I think it's good to sort of see that point of view because, you know, a lot of times there's people in the visual effects industry, or people in post industry, they think they're part of the film industry, but there's so much that they don't have a point of view on.
Mm-hmm.
That's about physical production, about unions and things like that. We don't know anything about that. We just sort of look at this high, it's like, oh, but you know, movies get made and I love movies, but they never really know about the other side of this, the situation. So I am curious to hear your thoughts about a couple of things that we did bring up on the last episode. I just want your quick takes on these things, okay? So first is, we talked about A24 and DeepMind having a connection. Do you know Google DeepMind? Have you heard of?
No.
Okay. So Google DeepMind is their AI research branch, right? And A24, who's been the darling child of all the people out there, have been talking about, oh, we love A24. They're the real filmmakers, the real authentic studios. They're not trying to just use AI to create movies. Suddenly they announced that they're going to do a partnership with Google DeepMind, mostly for productivity tools, right?
Yeah.
However, just the term AI makes everyone go crazy and they say, screw A24, we're canceling you.
Sure.
What are your thoughts about that? Real quick, doesn't have to be much.
Is this being recorded?
Yeah.
Hang on, what are we doing?
No, look, I think it's complicated, right? Like AI is in everything we do right now.
Sure.
I don't know, it was actually you or someone told me like someone in their family got a diagnosis of cancer because of AI. Like
Yes.
it's in everything we're doing. So
Right.
I think that the line probably is it to enhance something that a human is creatively creating?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, storyboards are complicated because somebody draws it, but
Yep.
is it helping independent filmmakers make their movies while still keeping humans in the process?
Right.
Or are we using it to quote unquote replace humans, which I don't think is actually possible
I'm with you on that.
personally.
Yeah.
So I don't think you can have a hard and fast line. I think it's a case by case kind of structural basis. It's here. It's going to be used.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you're going to
Sure.
use it to create your pitch deck per se.
And I think adults in the room, we kind of know that that's the case. But the backlash itself, should they have tried to hide the fact that they're using AI or not make a press release about it?
Or is
They
there
created
a
this
reason why
backlash?
they would have to say it or something
right.
like this? Like, it's confusing.
I mean, look, I don't work for A24, but it's probably worse if they do hide it.
Yeah.
And then it leaks,
It's a good point.
right? It's better to go, hey, we're doing, because as you said, it's for research, right?
Right.
So-
Or I don't know specifically,
Well,
but
they-
it's
yeah, they
not
said-
for
what was the
creating
phrase?
images and movies.
It was for productivity,
productivity tools.
like, which is a pretty vague phrasing for me.
Absolutely.
You know, like they make movies. Productivity would be things that make movies.
But it can also be, without getting into details, I knew writers working on a historical piece and they were able to use AI to recreate, basically information or translations that they wouldn't have access to
Sure.
otherwise. And so they didn't use it as a creative substitution, but they used it to gain knowledge about something they couldn't have done 5 years ago.
5
2
years ago. Yeah, exactly.
So I think it's like, but they were using it into something they were developing, they were creating, as a productivity tool, it's going to happen. It's already in probably everything. I mean, it's probably in everything we're using anyway.
Yeah. I mean, it's in things that we don't even know it's in. Like,
It's
I
in
think-
things, and you guys can attest better to me than like it's being used in VFX all the time now, but not in a way that's
But we're also,
substituting.
the VFX are doing the thing where they're pretending it's not being used.
Yeah.
Right. Well, they're always trying to hide VFX, right?
Right.
Never happened.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. This is the drag.
This is all real.
Okay. That is perfect because it drags us into the next episode. What do you think about the marketing efforts on movies like The Odyssey?
No VFX at all. It's totally made with the real Cyclops.
Well, they did. It's funny because I did see the whole,
The puppet.
no, not the puppet, the scene where she's transforming them all.
Oh, yes. Right.
Spoiler alert if you haven't seen the movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where she's transforming them all into pigs. And then I saw a whole thing about how that was all practical and
Right.
no VFX.
Right.
And look, I think I love that he is trying to maintain a purity to his filmmaking,
Sure.
only because what filmmakers can even do that anymore at that budget level? There are, him,
Well,
basically.
Yeah.
First of all, I take offense to the fact that you call it the purity to filmmaking. It implies that not doing CGI is impure.
No,
Yeah, yeah. Well, this is part of the issue.
I will
Yeah.
correct. I will correct myself. I just okay. Correction, reverse. In that I think he takes a joy in filmmaking itself. And what I love about what he does do is he will delve into like, how do we do this in camera? Not that I don't agree with him that VFX is incredible.
Right.
And some of my favorite movies, Arrival, I mean, like,
Yeah.
they don't exist without incredible VFX artists that transform you into other worlds.
Sure.
So I guess my answer to you is I love that there's a playing ground where someone who goes, I want to do it this way and just use puppets and all in camera.
Sure.
And he can do it at that scale, I think is amazing. And
Right.
not that had he used VFX, it would have been any less enjoyable to me.
Right.
But I do think filmmaking on a marketing side has become, especially on theatrical, it's eventized. So what he is doing, which is incredibly smart, is you're going to see the Odyssey for the film but you're going to see the event.
Yes.
It's 70 millimeter.
Right.
It's IMAX. Oh my God, it's all practical. So you're going because
Nothing about the story.
no, they're
Right.
eventizing the movie.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, well, and there's like it is great that he's gotten Like he's turned things like 70 millimeter into like a thing that people are really finicky about, as if like most people can't tell the difference even slightly, right? But like they like talking about it now, and that's like a popular thing to be doing, and it engages people more with theaters, and like I'm all for it. It's great showmanship. It's great showmanship.
It's also great marketing.
And it's
I mean,
great
also like 2
marketing,
years ago, like 7 or 8 or 10 of a couple of the Oscar nominated
Mhm.
films were like Celine Song's movie. They were all shot on film, which that wasn't the case the year before.
Right.
Sure.
Right.
I mean, I think it is great that people are using film and they're doing things. And listen, there's a lot of things that we did, for example, in the shoot that we just did, which we're going to get to at some point. But in June, July, we did a lot of things that are practical, old school way of doing things.
Yeah.
And that gave it a look, very specific look that we could not achieve otherwise. And that I agree with. That's great. And I'm definitely going to market that. I'm just not going to lie about it, right?
Yeah.
Right.
But at the same time, it's the pretending that they didn't use CG when there's clearly probably CG in every shot of
Well,
the
Dean
Odyssey.
worked on Odyssey, and nearly 1,000 people worked on the Odyssey doing VFX. That's what I heard.
Right.
And I'm like,
I
there's
heard-
VFX in the Odyssey.
I heard they actually cast a Cyclops. Very hard to find.
So
Yeah.
I mean, it's
But-
they were in Malta.
Of
They're
course
like,
they use CGI. Yeah.
yeah.
But look, I think also Christopher Nolan is a brand, and that's his brand. Of
Absolutely.
His brand, but I think that it's just I'd rather people celebrate his stories than his method, right? The problem I have is craft and art. It's the same freaking problem I've been talking about forever. People keep like putting craft on a pedestal and art throwing it away, and it really should be the other way around. You know what I mean? Like you should celebrate the art, not the craft.
Craft is interesting and it's fun.
It's interesting and fun, and it's what makes art fun and interesting. But it shouldn't necessarily be what more important than the art. The story of the Odyssey is what's important, right? What your interpretation that you gave us earlier this morning about how you thought, the relationship with him and his wife and all that stuff.
Yeah,
that was interesting.
That's the really fun stuff for me. Right.
That is that's what this should be about. But somehow that's not what
people talk about. All this other stuff.
But here's what I'll say. Look, I agree with you completely because I'm always story driven, and I'm actually indie quirky films are my favorite films of the year every year.
Right.
So I agree with you, and also I appreciate that. Like back in the days of DVD, like you would go and you would watch the behind. So if you're somewhere where you are not exposed to the film industry, which we obviously all are, he's pulling that. That's what people do, right? They would watch the behind.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, it's like Vlado,
absolutely.
right?
And Vlado loves the behind the scenes of Lord of the Rings, for example, right? And but have you gone back to see those behind the scenes? They were way more honest than they are now.
Yeah.
Oh,
no,
for sure.
I'm just saying he's doing it now in a way that there's like a 30-second attention span and top line clips of like Odyssey, all real. Great.
Yeah.
Someone's going to go, wait, because it's on, what is it on? It's on Instagram.
Right.
Or Snapchat. Well, I guess nobody does, whoever does Snapchat.
Yeah.
But, they're clips. Even on YouTube, man, I get clips now of like, I don't know why, but I get clips of Game of Thrones scenes.
Yeah.
Right.
And I will find myself sometimes like right before bed, like an hour's been sucked into watching these like small vignettes.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, the thing is like there's a real romance to filmmaking. Like there's just romance that you're working with actors and running around and being like little kids in the toy box. And like, that's super fun. And, when it comes to like Christopher Nolan running a giant puppet in Malta to do a scene, like who doesn't want to be there? Like that's incredible. That's super, super fun. It's way better than being like, and now let's go see, this VFX artist who hasn't showered in 3 days talk about the spline curves.
Yeah,
you're just like,
but look, if you're going to ask me what I would rather see, I would rather see the art house film about the story.
Sure.
But that's what's so great about Odyssey doing what it's doing, and then an Obsession, which is basically story driven. Like it's just good filmmaking.
Yeah.
They use a lot of virtual production in it.
Yeah, it's great.
Is there?
It's great. Yeah, all the car stuff.
all the car
that,
stuff's
yeah.
all.
Oh yeah, the car stuff is VFX. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
I mean, it's all virtual production.
Yeah, it's like
living.
the wall.
Yeah,
They do it the
yeah.
wall.
All right. I would want to bring that up. So I'm just going to jump around because I'm going to get into some different subjects. Let's talk about what we just did a couple of weeks ago because that was kind of special for us. That was something we've been trying.
Super awesome. Yes.
We haven't recorded a podcast since that recording. So Ron, run us through what it took to get us to that LED stage.
We started a day before.
We heard about LED stages. Can we rent one this afternoon?
We took the Alice in Wonderland house. No, I mean, look, you guys all know, but we started with VidViz and a concept and developing that concept and shooting that concept and reshooting that concept, which was amazing to have the opportunity to like see what scenes worked and what didn't work. And it kind of goes back to
and the blocking and the this and the that.
And the blocking, but also what you said, which is the beauty of what we did, which is it was always story driven, right? So VidViz was always like, okay, we've shot it, what works, what doesn't work, what character, which I think you probably have talked about on the podcast, like the character that's become a more central character in a feature that wouldn't have been had you not had the chance to see like, wow, this interaction is
really special.
Is really special and poignant and carries a central theme of the film we're exploring, which we would have never been able to discover without. So we did that, obviously.
Yeah.
And then that became this beautiful script that was written. And then you guys can speak much better to this kind of incredible blend of physical build and virtual.
Right.
Which we had Ariel.
You
never repeated Ariel. Ariel.
Yeah.
Ariel Ness Cohen, who came in with this incredible design and was super game. And it was kind of magical watching her work with you and the stage and actually being able to be on the stage and sort of have you guys match what she did and she matched what you did. And that sort of...
You brought together a team to like you always do. I mean, I've only worked with you a few times, but I work so much so that I'm like, I only want to work with you at this point. But you brought together a team that is very collaborative on all levels, right? And so when Ariel came in and when Ariel came in and we were building this thing and she connected me, she gave me her 3D models. I was able to connect the 3D models. I was able to see what worked and what didn't work. I could see, we built the models on the stage or just outside the stage. I was able to take pictures and references, and I genuinely surprised how it worked on version 1. Like I didn't have to do much to make these worlds feel connected.
Yeah.
And I was like, in theory, this should work, right? And not only that, like the Gaussian splat stuff that we did for the exterior and the burning house, like we got a feature that enabled that to happen like 5 days before the shoot started.
Yeah, it's rad.
The burning stuff I didn't know was going to work, and it did.
And for all this to be sort of interactive on set, and for things to be like for lighting to change the way we wanted it to change.
Right.
It's just it was really, really freaking crazy.
But it goes to what you guys were talking about earlier, because all of that and because of all of the planning and Ariel and you guys and the script and the thing, what we were able to do on the day, which was the magic of, is tell a story.
Yeah.
And that's what was so...
That was the only thing that was more...
That was the only thing that mattered. Like, I don't think we ever actually stopped trying to fix the wall or work with the wall or the set or the combination of the two. Like, as you've said plenty of times, at some point you actually couldn't tell which was which in camera.
Right.
So
there's an element to it where it's like the point of visual effects and with using the volume wall and all this, like we always say, like the idea is like you want to throw it away. You don't want people to be paying attention to the effects.
Don't make the wall your hero.
Don't make the wall your hero.
Right.
But like when things are working correctly, that's also true for your workflow. Like it's
right.
like you are like you don't want like all of this crazy technology, whatever you're using, like you want all of that to essentially disappear to focus on the movie you're making, on the characters you're working with.
What I'll say, not in contrast to that, but is I would say, and this is what it was so exciting to watch between the blend of the digital and the physical, is I wouldn't say disappear, but blend into the story.
Well, yeah, we're the same thing.
Our set was such an integral part of.
That's exactly what I mean.
Guys, it wasn't just a set. It was a set that was indicative of where they were at in this story and what they've endured, and sort of like where they're at in this journey of theirs. I mean, it was not, which any good set is.
Right. Let's talk about the characters themselves. We brought in these guys. Obviously, we knew James was going to be the guy, right? Because we filmed him up in Angel's Camp. So we knew that was set. But the other three were a question, right? Obviously, we had a lot of our friends sort of acted on the VidViz to do that for us. We knew we wanted to kind of move to some more professional actors for that level. James was the only one who was of that group who had been trained as a professional actor. So that was the reason he came to the other side of this exercise. How did you get those guys in?
Well, a combination of just basically friends. Well, not friends, basically.
Right.
So my wife, Lauren, went to school at Juilliard.
Right.
So she has some pretty amazing people that she went to school with.
Right.
Among them was obviously
Dallas Roberts.
Dallas Roberts.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been a fan of Dallas Roberts ever since
terrific, yeah.
Home at the End of the World. And
3:10 to Yuma.
3:10 to Yuma. And I mean, he's just been amazing. So we were just, and in those conversations we had, it was just like, do you think he would do it? And he was, I asked Lauren, I said, I think it's time for me to call him one of those favors. And Dallas was so fucking gracious. Like,
Right.
can we curse on the show?
Yeah.
I mean,
great.
For the minute, he was like, yeah, send it to me. I was like, great. And he's like, cool, I'm in.
Yeah.
And he was so like, again, it was about the work.
Yeah. And he just, and like any great pro, like he just came in and was just like slotted right in.
He was slotted right in.
Yeah.
And it was really about like, did he like the story, which he did, and was willing to come and play. And it was really easy.
We made it very easy for him. I don't know, maybe I'm reading too much into it because I'm such a fan of everything that we've done. But I think when you walk into that set and it felt so authentic.
Yeah.
Right. And it had Richard's lighting, which is very dramatic, and you could sense the drama of the lighting there.
Yeah,
you kind of get inspired by it because the minute we focused on Dallas's close-ups, his expression, his micro expressions, all of that were like, you could sense exactly your direction, his absolute terror and his absolute frustration at the same time.
So good. It's so good. I mean, like the thing is, it's like, Dallas Roberts doesn't need a LinkedIn recommendation for me, but if you get a chance to hire Dallas Roberts, hire Dallas Roberts. Like, dude, it's like he's exactly the way that any director hopes an actor would be, which is prepared, ready to just ready to play, ready to get in,
right?
And curious but efficient. Like that's like this is the best combination there is because there's plenty of actors who are curious and then like really start spending everybody's time on that curiosity.
Right.
Dallas came in and he's like, these are the things that I want to understand. Once they're clear, we were ready to go. And he was ready to go.
Well,
it was just incredible.
Well, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, and to that, like one of the things that was exciting for me, because the other cast was also equally amazing. And
we're going to get to those in a second, but finish your Dallas thought.
Oh no, my thought was on the other ones. Like what became really exciting on the day, which goes to what you're saying about collaboration is like, one, the crew was all amazing and the collaborative and the sense of community, but then the cast, like they brought out things in each other that I didn't even see in the script when I
No, absolutely correct. I mean, yes, absolutely correct. And let's talk a little bit about Ian's character because that was a really great Ian Castleberry. Because here's the thing, we knew we needed a heavy at the window, right? Yeah. We needed some guy who just has the 1,000-yard stare, the heavy look, right? And my original thought is like, just like your desk, just ask. Why not ask, right? And some weird reason, I was like, what about Danny Trejo? Oh yeah. And I tried to get in touch with Danny Trejo, and I was like, just ask. So I found Danny Trejo, found his website, had a page, it had contact for filming. I just sent an email. I got a response back in like an hour and a half.
Yeah, we were trying to make a deal with him.
I'm just saying it didn't work out. I'm just saying it didn't work out. That's totally fine.
But it was a real like it wasn't like like some untouchable.
No, just email
like guy who wants to work.
Yeah, I'm just saying it never hurts to ask, right? And it worked out with Dallas, didn't work out with Danny Trejo. But then at the same time, it says, okay, well that didn't work. But it inspired us to really think about who we could work with, and we talked to a friend of yours, right?
So Danielle Alfiero is an incredible casting director who's crossed a ton of TV. And I just said, hey, look, here's the role. Who do you think? And literally was the first guy she came with. It's like, this guy's amazing. You're going to love him.
Oh, dude.
And I thought we would go through the same thing, like, because she gave me his agent. And I thought we'd go through the whole, like, well, how much are you asking? And I don't know. And But the agent was amazing. And she was like, well, send me the script. She read the script and she was like, Yeah, let me send it to him.
That's awesome.
And it was, again, everything in this.
And by the way, this guy just came off the Odyssey.
Oh,
just came
let me quickly say this because because I met him. We hit it off and it was totally great. And they're like, "Oh yeah, I just worked in the Odyssey." I was like, "Oh, that's great, man." He's like, "Oh yeah, it's like 1,000 people there, crazy." Now in my mind, I'm thinking like, okay, so he was like, he's worked on the Odyssey. Like when I say like, I worked on a David Fincher movie. Like when then I saw the Odyssey. He is in the Odyssey. He is in it.
He does not have a specific speaking role, but he is all over the place.
Movie for like 75%
scene where
of the
he's trying to
time.
escape from the
It's
Trojan
so
horse.
good.
Yeah.
And
He's holding it back,
so
and he's getting stabbed, right?
Yeah.
It was it's like,
I swear to God, if I had seen the Odyssey first, I would have been utterly starstruck by the dude when I met him. But he was unbelievably
But
cool.
it's one of the things that's so great about good artists, which is like they're there to play.
yeah.
It's about the
fun,
work,
man.
and there's no.
Yeah,
I mean, we all have ego. It's impossible to, but if there's no ego when it comes to the work, it's like, is it fun and is it cool?
Is this cool?
Right.
Is this a good time? Yeah, because it feels like working with Ian. It's like, I'm an old. I've said this before. I've admitted this before on the podcast. Like I still play D&D. I've been playing D&D since I was 12 in various role playing games, and nothing has affected my writing, my direction, and my ability to communicate with people on set and actors and all this stuff more than doing that, right? And like Ian was as awesome and fun to work with in exactly the same way as a friend of mine whom I game with. And it was like I was hallucinating. I was like, I had this dream that I was working with this dude Ian Castleberry, but we were also gaming and we were on this giant boat. It was unbelievably fun, man. Like the energy that he brought was outrageous. He has to stand still at a window and look really, really hard.
And he has to say like 3 lines, but every time he opens his mouth, it's terrifying.
Chills the room, right? But you should talk to him. He's the nicest, funniest, sweetest dude in the world.
Sweetest guy in the world. You would never. Yeah. It's actually my favorite moment in the shoot is the moment with Dallas. Again, it's a moment I didn't see with Dallas's character, and I won't give the line of the thing, but it's a moment before he speaks. He looks around. And it's Ian, it's Jeff Lorch, it's James, and there's a moment that's so palpable of him going, "Oh, any one of these guys was going to kill me probably before the end of the night."
Yeah, it's over.
It's an unscripted moment, and it's so visceral.
Yeah, it's so good.
And it's that cast that they brought that.
Yeah. And this is stuff that like if you read the script, you wouldn't necessarily see this at all. It boiled up out of their stew together,
connectivity and out of their interactions and their desired. I mean, they were all so
like the Lorch taking it. Jeff Lorch, the other amazing guy, like he found the center of this scumbag character.
Oh, he's so funny,
like so fast. And okay, the two. I mean, I'm going to compliment everybody because I love working with all of them. But with Lorch, like not only did he like laser point onto this character, he's like click and just got it.
Yeah,
like he is also the most frame accurate actor I have ever worked with. He would do he would do something in a shot that looks, and like in the shot, it looks absolutely casual and invented in that moment. And then he did it 10 more times exactly the same way.
Yeah.
And I was like, how? It was like you had a motion control system and you guided it around.
Yeah.
And recorded that and played it back.
He did this thing with the knife, right? That's the knife, right?
Yeah.
And the beauty about the knife thing, right, is that he did it and he is like licking the knife, which is both comical and threatening, right?
Yeah,
but also the other beauty thing I like about it is because the scene was dark, as we know, it was very dark, right? But when he twisted that knife, it
flashed,
shing,
and he knew it because like he would move the knife to make sure that the light was striking the lens at the right time,
right?
Like he knew how the light was hitting his face, so he'd get the maximum creepy effect from the pitch of his head.
Yeah,
like the guy is so like effortlessly. He's both extraordinarily aware of his body and unself-aware at the same time.
Right,
a really, really shockingly good performance, and like between the three of them, like you're saying, Ron, it's just like you never could have predicted that chemistry.
No, and James. I mean, look, James is family, so we don't think about him, but his performance.
Oh yeah,
I think about James.
Anyway, we can talk
all the time.
But his performance is like the peacemaker and the casting was so great. They all carry such.
Yeah, I think
Wow, it's
the
awesome.
best thing about James is because I looked at it again. I've been looking at dailies constantly, right? And I've been looking at his performance in the VidViz, James's performance, and they're very close, right? But he brought it up like a huge amount with his micro things,
Yes.
because he did his lip shaking thing,
Yeah.
where he's like, like I'm trying to say, like, yeah, that's okay, but I'm terrified at the same time.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was so good.
Yeah,
It was
dude.
so good.
And James is like James's performance from the original version that we did is the reason why we thought through that character the way that we did.
It influenced the script.
And it
It influenced the script, for
influenced
sure.
how like not just like specifically what his character does, but like how we think about the rest of how the story is told. And it's been real, and that's the magic of James, because he's just great and he's very patient with us all the time. But also the being able to do things VidViz style is like, it keeps underscoring the idea of just like, this is all technologically based, but when you are focused on the movie and the story and the characters and their motions, all the technology just becomes a thing that you're doing. Like, it's just second. It's like riding a bike. You're like, you don't think about the mechanics of the bike when you're on a great bike ride. And
Right.
that's what's happening for us. And it really is inspiring to be in that kind of.
And then finally, let's remember Lee, who was also played June, right?
Yeah.
Right. And so I love the fact that she was part of our original VidViz when we did a scene here, which is we haven't made public for obvious reasons, but she was part of our experiments here, and so she's
Playing
also
June.
she knows who June is.
Yeah.
She also knows that she's not June's age.
Yeah,
Right?
she can't be playing June because she's 30 years too young to play.
30 years too young, right?
Yeah.
But she knows how to work for June, like
Yeah.
to make the June character work.
Right.
She also knows that in a specific thing that we're doing, we're not going to see her face or see her, so identify that she's not necessarily the right age to play that character. Nonetheless, she made all of that work, and we also combined with the way that we shot her and that we're doing.
Oh yeah,
Because she shows up behind the outhouse wall.
you can see her through the splats of-
and it's you can't make out her face and all that. But between the little slots, her eye shows up. She's very
it's great.
small, and it's terrifying.
Yeah,
And you can't do that with just some stand-in actor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. You can tell, even if it's only 5 pixels on the damn screen, you can tell it's terrifying.
Yeah, and I feel like that motivates James. Like, James gives even
Yes.
more, and like, it's, everything ping pongs between everything else, and I think that's the glory of that stuff. And also, with Lee, like, she's not going to be playing June July in the final, but she will be in June July if we have any say about it at all, because like, she is an unbelievable actor who like absolutely delivers.
And she's when I talked to her quite a bit, and she's like loves to be part of this thing. I got to tell you, I've gotten some of the greatest compliments about our crew and about how people feel invested and excited about doing what they're doing. And to me, that's just really makes me feel really special. So I'm very, very proud of what we've accomplished. I do want to talk about the lighting and the cinematography as well. I know Richard isn't here; he's always on this podcast, but I'm going to talk about him instead of to him. I just came from Siggraph. I just did a presentation over there. They were mostly interested in how we used Gaussian splats and relightable Gaussian splats and ray tracing, obviously, and how that worked. I showed a bunch of shots, just the dailies of what we did. It has some infrared color VFX, but it is enough to inform what we did and why in-camera VFX is effective. And there are several things that showed up that I want to bring up, because not only did it look far superior than you can get if you didn't use in-camera VFX, it also saved us a ton of money. And I'll give you some perfect example, right? When we did the shoot of James looking at the burning house through the slats of the outhouse, right? Looking through there. The burning house was out of focus through the slats. We focused on James's hat from behind. Then June walks in. We change focus to her, right? The blooming changes because the focus changes. The fire looks just as bright. Everyone thought it was real fire out there. It looked like real fire. We can see her performance. We can see everything. It was all captured in one take in camera, right? The only other way we should have, if you had asked most VFX people how to shoot this, they say, we put a blue screen back there. We'll put the house in later.
Right.
We'll put the fire in later. We'll shoot June coming up. Then we'll shoot the wall, and then we'll shoot him, and then we'll just do all the defocus
in there, right?
in post. And there's no way it would have looked that good.
Well, yeah,
no way.
Like, there's no way to get like,
And then James and her can interact with each other through the right middle device,
right,
where they're trying to find each other's eyes,
right?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, like it's some of those things. Like, yeah, if you have to do it the other way, then that's the way you do it,
right?
Yeah. But like, if you if you can eliminate those steps, then you're going to be more focused on what the creative event is,
right?
And so and you can capture things like when you're using a split diopter and made the light flare out in this bizarre way that you can't capture in any other way.
So let's talk about that, because a lot of people don't know what a split diopter is. A lot of people do, but a lot of people don't. And a split diopter is essentially like a half lens that you put on one half of your screen, or in front of your lens, right? So what that does is it allows you for half your lens to be at a different focal length than the other half. It's essentially it's like reading glasses, almost like just for one part, right? And so famously used in Jaws when he's trying to look at someone in the background and getting attacked by a shark and having a conversation with someone who's right in his face. They use a split diopter so that both can be in focus at the same time.
Or if you see All the President's Men, there are lots of things where Rob Redford's really close, and you see the rest of the the offices in crystal focus beyond him.
Right. So we wanted to do something where camera is very close to James's face, where his whiskers were literally in focus.
Right. Because the idea of the scene is that you're experiencing this the way that James is experiencing, which is like it's kind of a radio play drama that's happening for him of what is happening outside, because he can't really see it. And so you're only getting a little bit of weird information through the slats. And Richard's like, well, we'll keep focused on his cheek and then we'll be seeing that he is listening to what this is. And what we get on the other side is we know that these are slats. We know that we are seeing action through these slats, and we see like light crossing through it and whatnot.
Sure.
But we don't know exactly what it is.
And let's be honest with ourselves, even with all of our planning and everything, we didn't think that we needed a split diopter in the sun until we figured it out on that day.
Until we got there.
So
yeah, exactly.
Richard said, I think this would look great with a split diopter. And I was like, better get one. We got that split diopter at the last second.
Oh my God, yeah.
On the day. I mean, you've already shouted out to the crew, but the crew on this shoot was so amazing. Everyone.
Yeah.
The gaffer, the grip, the PAs, the coordinators.
Just Suarez.
But we got that literally on set. Someone flew to Panavision.
Yeah. That was
we stalled and adjusted. And
they met halfway, actually. I think they met halfway.
They met halfway to get actually they got the wrong one and they came back and then
exactly. And the thing is, like, this is a tribute to the entire crew, is because like that the second day was as stressful as any regular day of shooting I've been on other sets, right? Because these things are crazy.
Now the first day was so smooth that we were surprised that the second day had a couple of rough spots.
Well, it's because like the first day we had like a good full day of pre-light beforehand. We had planned everything out, and it was we were ready to go, and we had all the bases covered. The second day, there were a lot more shots that were getting in there, and we had not worked it out as to like getting the camera into the outhouse to figure out if these shots that we had planned would really work the way that
because we never really try to fit the camera in.
Right. And this is what happens. It's like you think that you just like you make an assumption. This is my fault. I made an assumption. We're going to get the camera in there, and you're just going to get this. We get the camera in there, and then that does not work literally at all.
Right.
And if everybody around and every member of the crew hadn't been as tip top as they were, we would have been screwed. Right. And again, that would have been my fault, not them. But we would have been absolutely screwed into the ground. But because we have an unbelievable team, like one misjudgment didn't throw the whole ball game off.
It did not. We all adjusted. Now, the thing that the point I was trying to make about the diopter is we finally got it. We put it in front of the lens, and I'm like, okay, hope this works. And then suddenly, Lee is swinging that lantern around, and these
and this
wacko, weird lens flares started appearing because we had a split diopter that we didn't even think of.
Yeah.
And we would never have done that.
Like, it wouldn't have happened except that we were, that the shot didn't go as planned.
Right.
Then we get it. And Richard, like, as soon as he locked in, like, I can just like and do this and swing it, and like the both of us standing side by side before it was like even where we thought we were going to place it. We were like, hey, wait! That looks. What is that? What is this?
Right.
And then we start watching this. We're like mesmerized by this, and we're like, we can capture just one glimpse of this.
Right.
Then all of this is worth it.
Just sure.
Yeah, but that opportunity wouldn't have been available to us again if everybody around hadn't been playing on the best baseball team in the
for
league.
sure.
Like
for
that's
sure.
like that's what you hope for when you're making movies. Things go wrong all the time, but most of the time, like you have to, when you go to a fallback plan, like you don't have the moment to have an artistic realization.
Right.
Like you're just doing the fallback.
Right.
Whereas like this, we still had room, and Richard was of the mind to, when he saw the beautiful thing, he said, "Hold it right there. This is the beautiful thing."
Right.
And like being that present is how you end up with the great stuff.
Yeah. Now, I want to talk about Janelle a little bit as well, because Janelle was, obviously she made sure that there was a sanity check on everything I was thinking. It's got to be really hard for her to work with a producer like me, who's had a lot of visual effects experience, and me not having to rely on her, me just like coming up with VFX ideas when she should really be the person that does a lot of that. She did a great job of telling me that's not going to work, Chris.
Right.
And telling me when it was going to work, right?
Definitely her
So
job.
I did specifically, like, I didn't know how much that Gaussian splat wall was going to work, right? Because there's only so much resolution you can get out of a Gaussian splat, and I didn't know if it was going to work. Now, with that said, it worked. From the perspective of the outhouse with it out of focus, it worked way better than even I expected.
Yeah.
And when James comes out of the house, I was like, there's no way this is going to work. And I said, let's put up a blue screen, right?
Yeah.
And then I was like, let's just see what it looks like with the freaking house on. Who cares?
It looks great.
It does. And I still think we can enhance it from there, right? But that was an important part. But the thing that was, and Janelle has done this to us many times on many of these VidVizzes and stuff like that. She goes, we all had this idea, and it's like, not quite working. And she's like, what about this? I'm like, that's not quite working. What about this? And if I was like, what did Janelle say?
Yeah.
Let's try Janelle's idea. Oh shit, we should have been listening to her the whole time. We just wasted 15 minutes.
Yeah, well, I mean, because because the ending shot, the shot we're talking about, it's like we had this boarded out. We were shooting it the way that we had boarded it out.
Right.
Got it ready, and then because just because of a positioning error.
Right.
We're like, oh, okay, reset. And then that's when Janelle's like, oh, I think that looks better, right?
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
And we were like, wait. And so we reset, and we're like, oh yeah, just move up to the back of his head. This
right.
That's a way better shot.
Yeah.
Like that. That really, and it connects to the extra shot that we had got on the previous day. And I was like, oh, that's magic.
She's so good at that. And there's a thing about, I don't know if she realizes how good a filmmaker she is.
Well, this is like,
you know what I mean?
Like, this is the thing. It's like, I think the problem that happens on set a lot of the time is
especially if you've been given the role of VFX person that's supposed to just be a VFX person.
Yeah, like and people like not only do people feel sort of shuffled off to the side as VFX soup.
Right.
Like they are like when you get on a set and the directors and the producers are just like, oh, the VFX soup is just a pain in the ass because we need to get these shots and we'll paint it out and blah blah blah.
Right.
And when you sort of mistreat them like that all the time, they have great ideas that they are not coming forward with. Like they're not just there to be a pain in the ass for you. Like
sure.
Like they are probably very good shot makers by themselves. That's how they got in the position. But then you get someone like Janelle, who is like David Fincher level quality professional. Like you would be a moron to not listen to her ideas.
Sure.
Like, and like if she's talking on set and she's like,
yeah,
what about this shot? Like you open your ears.
And that's honestly, that's what I want.
Yeah.
I want to give her an environment where she has that ability to talk more. And not to say that she doesn't have the ability in other places. I know she's very collaborative with the people she works with. She works a lot with Spike Jonze. And I don't think he brings her on just because she
she's
can put
the
up a blue
genius.
screen.
That's
She
what-
knows how to
right,
do something.
Exactly.
Nonetheless, I still think it's great to be able to have her available for what we do. And it was just like, I think it was really great. And so there's a lot of stuff that happened in that area that with her and with Kevin, who was working with as well. So it was a really good.
I mean, she also meant just to keep it up, like between her and Ron,
Mhm.
like when we were shooting the other sequence,
Mhm.
like we had the ending shot of that was boarded out.
Mhm.
And we shot it and we were like, oh, it's pretty good. And then both her and Ron came to us separately and were like, is that really the best shot?
Mhm.
It's like this kind of has a problem. This kind of has, and so like that's when we were like, okay, maybe do we have time? Let's do a different shot.
Right.
And we came up with not just a different shot, but a shot that was like
500% better.
that's 500% better. Like this is now a great scene because of the new shot that we had.
Yeah, and
planned for.
it's like, oh my God, it's like we basically created like the closing shot of Shane, or
Yeah.
not Shane, what am I thinking? Searchers, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I was
And
like,
it's
oh
just, like,
Jesus.
phenomenal. And
How
like
did we
this-
miss this?
We wouldn't have come up with it unless they had said something
Yeah.
about this. And so that's the team nature of what we have, because we've all been on sets where it's just like it's just not the team. It's just not a team. You know,
Right.
it's like, and you can see people's time their creative energy and their time being wasted all over the place. But what you guys, speaking just from my position, what you two have so effectively done is create an atmosphere by which everyone is very so in love with what we're doing, and we love working
We've
with each
gotten
other
love
so
letters
much.
from some of our people.
That the ideas flow freely, and I can tell you because from directors have this this mythical glow around them, like Stanley Kubrick, blah 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 blah. It's good that they're good artists, but like they are
You mean
just
Chris Nolan?
Chris Nolan, like Chris Nolan without
Wait.
with Hoyt van Hoytema
Yeah.
is a different filmmaker.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like the director is just the prow of the ship. The ship, if the ship's running well, then you have a great voyage. But it's not the masthead. What is that called? The masthead. What is the thing out in front of the boat? Like, just because it's in front doesn't mean it's like responsible for the way the boat's going all the time.
Right.
And like it's as a director, you're the lens through which all of this passes.
Right.
Right. And I'm privileged to have that many opportunities to choose between these great ideas.
Yeah.
But the great ideas are coming from the entire crew.
I think we all look at it and we all see it, and I'm thankful for it. I make sure to tell people, and I might fail a couple times, but I make sure to tell people, it's like, listen, that was great, that was amazing.
Yeah.
And thank you for being part of the film process. I went to Esther, right, who was her AC, and she's a fantastic
That was
focus puller, right?
Awesome.
And I was like, Jesus, you really did an amazing job on that focus pulling, because that focus pulling was so much part of the story.
Yeah, dude, it tells the story. Like focus pulling is an art form, right?
It is
And
absolutely an
have,
art form.
We have applauded her for great focus pulling after shots.
She did it like exactly right. Like, specifically with that scene where it's like, oh my God, it's Ross. He's hiding up in the outhouse, and then suddenly there she is.
There's a
oh
shot.
no!
Yeah, there's a shot of Ian at the window.
Yeah.
That we have, and just as Lorch in the foreground, out of focus, turns his head and kind of smiles, it shifts into focus and catches him just as he stops.
Right.
And I was like, "You bastards, that's good."
Yeah, I know, right? So that's why you get those people to do it, right? You're not going to do it. All right. That was okay. We'll see. It's going to come out at some point soon. So it's still very much in flux. We're still all very excited about the shoot, but we're now in post landing. We got a lot of work to do. So we'll get that done.
Yep.
I do have a couple more quick things I want to ask you about, Ron, specifically because of your role and how you've been seeing independent films from your point of view, getting greenlit, getting distribution, getting money at this point. What do you think about the fact that you're seeing a lot more private equity these days in filmmaking?
I mean, I think it's exciting. I think that's what I think we've all said it. It's like the rock and roll of filmmaking time.
Mhm.
I
Right.
think it's exciting because
But how do you convince private equity to invest in film? Like, what's the secret for what makes them excited about it?
I think it's the complete opposite of what you think,
Okay.
which is like independent filmmaking or private equity basically means you're moving away from this model of we're going to put this actor in it and we're going to pre-sell it, which still happens and
Sure.
and is a totally understandable model because any business, like, this is your mitigation of risk. This person has this value.
Mhm.
We're going to, and that is a very valid way of making films.
But it's
But-
not proving to be correct.
But
either.
it doesn't hold like it does. The pre-sales don't hold like they do. And it does at some point limit a creative ability to make something because you're stuck in this box of,
I got to make a 4-quadrant film.
so you make an obsession with people you've never
Yes.
heard of.
Right.
Yes.
Or there's a film that came out of South by Southwest 2 years ago called It Follows that Range picked up. And
Yeah.
okay.
I've seen it.
I'm a huge fan of that
it's
one.
incredible.
Yeah,
And when you
right.
when you see those guys, they were all like, "Oh yeah, I was a truck PA before this." And you're like,
Yeah.
"But you're amazing. You're
Yeah.
amazing in this movie,
Right.
and the filmmaking's amazing. You haven't heard of any of these people."
Yeah.
Right.
So what's exciting about private equity is you find people that can afford. You basically the first thing you ever say is, "Just don't plan on ever seeing this money again." You know
Yeah,
what I
it's
mean?
just, yeah.
and
it's a
and
film.
you might see it 18 times over.
Mhm.
You know,
Sure.
and
But
everybody.
that's true with any startup investment.
It's true with
Right.
any startup, any business, anything. It doesn't
Right.
matter. Even if you're investing in a huge company
Yep.
Right.
or stocks, you
Yeah.
could see it, you could not.
Right.
And your job as a filmmaker is to then do everything you can to create the best
Yeah.
product with an incredible story and cast and get it to the world and do everything you can to ensure that it has a life.
Right.
But I think there's this weird middle ground of saying, let's remove the need for financial success, even though you do have it.
Mhm.
Sure.
And let's focus on making something amazing, which paradoxically gives you the best chance of it actually having
Yeah,
financial
because
success.
Right.
making good movies is how to make money. Like
Right.
this is like the best chance of making money at making movies is to make them well. That's the truth.
And that's where independent financing is like, you're not going to find, in my opinion, someone who's fluid enough to make an independent movie that at some part of them isn't like some sort of childhood dream
Of course.
or some sort of
Right.
like they inherently have this love of like, oh my God, I'm making something cool.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that hopefully gives you the ability to make something pretty amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, if you end up with something that's great, even if you don't make any money on it, then you still end up with something that's great. And that is the value I think that these kinds of people are actually like,
Yeah.
that's the base level, but that is what they want to experience.
And your job is, your job is to make money because you want that
Yes.
person to continue investing and you
Right.
want to build a relationship.
Right.
So it is your job. But I think the fastest way to lose money, frankly,
Mhm.
is to try to figure out what makes money because that's never how
Well,
it
this is what the
works.
studios have proven.
Well, that's what the
recently.
studios have proven, and that's
Yeah.
what's
Yeah.
created, the death of great stories, which we've all seen
Mhm.
time again of like noting something to death to try to fit it in to these small boxes that don't work
Yeah.
because you look at like an Adolescence on TV or even a Game of Thrones when it first came out.
Mhm.
Nobody was making that show. And
Yeah.
when you talk to the makers of Game of Thrones,
I
they
did.
were- so I did too.
Yeah.
And they were not the first one.
No. They're like,
Nobody
this is
thought-
very
Right.
scrappy.
Yeah.
They were very scrappy, and I think HBO thought like, okay, we made the show, but like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Whatever.
And then it's like defining. Same with
Right.
True Detective.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Literally redefined TV.
Yeah, and like in True Detective, like that, the first season at very least, if not further, like is like regarded as TV art now.
It's
You know.
TV art, but it doesn't. To me, on
Mhm.
paper, you come into any studio with that show,
Mhm.
and you're like, no, absolutely not.
Right.
It does. This goes. It's a character-driven detective story.
Right.
It's moody. It doesn't fit in any single.
Yeah, we can't. What are we supposed to do with this thing? Like
Yeah,
he sees
the-
like visions of a spinning dark
Yeah,
universe.
It's
What is
like
this? Yeah.
weird. No, but it's
Right.
one of the best shows on TV.
It's incredible. It's great.
Yeah.
Right.
But I mean, this is the like I wrote this up on our Discord, but I was just like the studios have because they have spent the past 20 years doing these super IP 4-quadrant experiences. Like that is what created the illusion that people don't want to see movies anymore. And it's
Of
because
course they-
You never
Yeah.
gave them the opportunity to see them.
yeah, like like by when you spend $500 million on a movie, you need to make $2 billion back
Right.
And the only way you're going to do that is by making it as generic as possible so everybody goes.
Right.
But the more times you make things as generic as possible, the returns start diminishing because
And you
people
lose the
want
younger
interesting
audiences
things.
that are hungry for new things.
Yes.
The younger audiences want something that defines their generation, and they haven't had that. And I made this, I kind of got on my soapbox at Siggraph and a panel. I was like, why are we, it's 49 years since Star Wars came out. What the fuck are we still doing milking that franchise?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's a little sad. Okay. I know you've got to go soon, so I do want to hit on one last thing here, and it's more importantly, obviously we know there's been a lot of debate about the Warner Bros Paramount consolidation, what that means, etc. Don't want to get too much into the whether that's going to happen or not, or whether it's the right thing or not for them to merge. I do want to note the fact that when they do merge, obviously we're going to have fewer major studios, right?
Right.
And their argument is obviously, no, we need to compete against the new streaming studios of Netflix and Amazon, et cetera. All of these companies are extremely big, expensive companies,
Yeah.
right? Big corporate companies. And what do you think about newcomers or the A24s, although we talked about them in a different way at the beginning of the podcast? What do you think about those studios or other smaller indie studios taking advantage of the fact that this consolidation opens up the door for new types of filmmaking?
I mean, I think it's, again, the lifeblood. Like, look, filmmakers are always going to find a way to make films and get it out there. Like, I saw Neon on stage at one of the festivals, and what was so exciting, because obviously they're massive. I think it was the same year they had Long Legs and Anora.
Yeah,
They
it's
had
a real year. Yeah, it was insane.
And they had like a dream of any studio, but they were all up there as like little kids.
Yeah, of course.
Talking about how excited they were about, like, one guy at some point made a comment about like, oh yeah, we did that advertising stuff. We might get in trouble for it. But they were still risk takers, I guess, is what was so exciting.
Right.
And they were taking risks because they would, I think, like, Long Legs didn't have, what's his name on the cover, Nicolas Cage.
Right.
Mhm.
No, it was always shot from this.
It was
from the
always
neck
shot,
down,
which is indicative of what we all love about film, which
Yeah.
is like, how do we tell a cool story in a
Yeah.
different way?
Right.
And how do we let the story, which is where we started this podcast, how does the story lead?
Yeah.
First,
Yeah.
not the star, the thing, the marketing,
the tech, the
and
whatever
I
it
love
is,
that they're
doesn't matter.
incredibly successful,
Right, right.
and they do it well.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So I think that you think, what are some of your predictions about the studios and how the studio dynamics are going to be in the next few years?
I don't. That's a hard one. I mean,
Okay.
I just.
Well, what do you want? What would you like?
I mean, I'd love to see the rise of independent filming, and I'd love to see that. You don't see that as much. The smaller of the, even the Neons and the A24s now are like,
Mhm.
they're still bigger filmmakers, right? But this Possessions is a great example of like, and it's not really because he had a pretty great team behind him.
Mhm.
But I would, like, of my favorite films of the last couple of years, like Thelma,
Mhm.
Right.
My Old Ass is not necessarily an independent film.
My Old Ass
Loved
is
My
so
Old
great.
Ass.
But it's such a,
Loved
like, I
it.
love that those kind of films are getting made again,
Right.
and they have a reminiscence of stuff from before, but also they're original and creative and have something to say. And so my hope is that those films find their voice again.
Yeah.
And we return to this like filmmaking about humanity.
And as a producer, if I'm going to tell you, it's like, as a producer, it's like, okay, what's the magic budget where you feel you have the most freedom and can have the biggest impact?
I think it depends on what you're making. I think
Sure.
the 5 to 10 space is probably, and really closer to the 5 million
Mhm.
space is probably your like,
That's the sweet spot.
I think
Yeah.
it's a sweet spot if you're talking about like a truly independent film where it's like, it's not that much money. There's a little bit of like, okay, we can get this out into the world and it's not going to,
Right.
Yeah.
Well, because I feel like though it's really coming. I think that Obsession and Backrooms are great breakthroughs, right? But I mean, I bring this up before, but so like those are, like this shows that the audience is there for interesting, cool, new, fresh stuff, right?
Yeah.
There's a reason why Star Wars got so big. There's a reason why Marvel got so big. It's because people do really want big, crazy movies that are worth going to the movie theater for. They also want the big stuff, right?
Yeah, but even the first Star Wars, wasn't the first Star Wars, they were just like,
The first,
yeah, what?
this is what I really want to return, right? Is when George Lucas was making THX 1138, Star Wars, Spielberg was making Close Encounters and stuff like this. Like those movies, like Close Encounters is, for me, one of the best American films ever made. It's one of the craziest movies ever made. It's also giant, crazy science fiction with loads of VFX and all this stuff. And to create a situation where you're not, say, limited to, oh, well, we want to tell something personal and real and artful, so we have to do 4 people in 3 rooms. Like, filmmakers should be able to go, I want to do that because I want to do that.
Yeah.
But I also, or maybe I want to do my Star Wars scale thing, but still tell a personal, risky story with great characters and writing and acting. And the thing is that the way that the studio system has worked up until now, at least for the past 20 years, is that's off the list, right?
100%.
And so like you cannot, if you're going to make giant space spectacular, it better be stupid and for everybody. And that's what I don't want. What I want is for people to have no limits on what their visions are and to be able to deliver the art that they want from their heart at any level. All right. And I feel like what is available now and the situation we're in now allows for the way Christopher Nolan makes his movies for $250 million. Like small groups can do the same thing.
I hope so, but they're doing it at Contact to me is the perfect, or Arrival.
Arrival, exactly.
Is a great.
Exactly.
It's not a low budget movie.
Yeah.
It's incredibly personal.
Yeah. Like that's what
It doesn't have to.
available.
It's not about the low budget. It's about telling a good story.
Yeah.
It's about telling a good story. But
Right.
they were given, and that's why you need the Denis Villeneuves of the world. Who
Right.
can again, regardless of what you think of Christopher Nolan movies, I have my own opinion.
Sure. Yeah.
I still appreciate that there is a handful of people that can still get a event movie made who still at least
Right.
that you still get a sense of they still love filmmaking.
He's making exactly the movie he wants to make.
He's making the movie that he wants to make, and he's making, I think, I don't know him from Adam, but I think he's making the movie that he thinks will make a statement about the world that he wants to say, which is filmmaking.
That's it.
And
I had no problem with that. I actually, honestly speaking, I've heard him talk at the VS, and I know he basically is not the person that's always pushing anti-visual effects or CGI and stuff. He's not doing that. It's his marketing team that's done.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
of course.
They're using him as a brand, and
Sure,
that's kind
exactly.
of a little bit.
they're eventising.
Right, they're
They're
eventising.
Right.
Exactly.
You're absolutely right. Okay, speaking of 4 people in 3 rooms,
Mhm.
did you watch The Invite?
Oh, I've not seen the.
No.
I hear it's amazing. I hear it's awesome.
It was funny. I saw it with my son and his friends. And
She's a terrific director.
she's
I
a
think.
great director.
Great.
And the best feedback I got from one of my son's friends, 16-year-old kid or 17-year-old kid, is like, for a movie about orgies, it was surprisingly little nudity.
It's like Bart standing outside the theater with naked lunch. And
That's exactly what Karen says. There's 2 things wrong with the title of that movie. So, but it was very good. And I think, again, 2 things that are great about that. One, a movie like that gets made.
Mhm.
It gets into theaters, and 16-year-old kids want to go see that movie.
Yeah, it's great.
Right?
It's great.
So that's kind of interesting. They get interested in interesting stories. Like my son, when he went to go see Marty Supreme, is like, that was surprisingly interesting.
Yeah.
And just the fact that they're seeing that, and they're like, because they'll go
And
see
it's-
Blue Beetle, and they're like,
Eh,
okay.
Yeah. So you see, like you can't see Marty Supreme without having opinions about Marty Supreme.
No, of course not.
Like that's like good or bad, whether people like it or not. Like the movie is just like, I'm here to challenge you. This is it.
Right.
You can and have your feelings. Go ahead. Like that makes me feel like, man, it's like when we were hitting the indie stride in the early 90s.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't believe what is happening with movies. Like this is the greatest period of my whole life.
Right.
And I feel like that is we are turning that corner again. And you have like young creatives suddenly embracing this medium that was being
For
ignored.
old creatives like us trying to get back into
Yeah,
it.
we're
That's
doing
what
our
got
best,
me
yeah.
excited, because I was looking about what we're trying to do here, and I'm like, I don't know if we can pull this off or if there's an example. And then I saw what Boots Riley's doing, and I just, he did Sorry to Bother You, which is an interesting and funky
Love that.
film, and it's a weird kind of a
Wacko.
sci-fi film that I didn't
Wacko
expect either.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, well, I know obviously he has some reputation before that enabled him to have a little more credibility going
Yeah.
into it than most people. but he's also our age.
Yeah.
Right?
Dude. And no amount of credibility in the world prepares you for some of the shit you see in that movie.
That's weird.
It's weird.
And
it's
funny.
Great. It's funny as hell. It's brilliant. Man, I love that picture. And that's the thing is like, he's going in there. He's like, I'm going to make the movie I want to make. And whatever that means is what.
And it has a weird style that is clearly only his style, the way the color and the lighting.
That's the way it should be.
Anyway, I think it's exciting. I feel excited about what we've done. I feel excited about the team we've put together. I've caught a couple of feelers out there, and everyone I bring on to our little group, like Ron brings on the people, and then he brings on the right people that come with that people, like Roy brought Richard in, and then Richard brings the right people on his group. I know I get to know all of these guys. I know all of the guys who Jeff and who was Kyle.
Yeah.
I know I know all of them, right?
It's like if you see, like if you watch, I always say this, but it's just like if you watch the credits on a David Lynch movie, it's the same set of like 10, 15 people.
Yeah.
Like, because once those people started working together, they're like, this is a good deal. Yeah. Let's do this. We're making great stuff together. Let's keep on rocking.
Well, and Jerry, I always have to chase him down to get him paid every fucking time. But it's just kind of nice, like all these guys are so great. And I just feel, it feels good, and it should feel that way. When you're making a film, it should be like, I do think, I'm not, like I said, I'm not always a fan of Tarantino, but I do, when I see people that work on a Tarantino film, they all look at it and it's like, why are we doing this? Because we love movies. Right? And that's true. It's like, that's the right answer, even if it's frustrating or something didn't come in.
Yeah, because and this came up kind of last time, but like nobody gets into making movies because it's easy. They do it because they love it. Because like making movies is not about like, oh man, I'd really like to make a lot of money. I'm going to be a director. Nobody says that with straight face.
No one does. And I think there's also another important distinction that you put out. It's like just because you love movies doesn't mean you like making movies. Yeah, making movies is stressful as hell. So you have to be ready for that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, because like I've loved watching movies my whole life.
Right.
But that is one experience.
Right.
And it is part of making movies. But as we've always said, like many people that we've met in visual effects, like don't know anything about the movies. They're just like, I don't really watch movies. And you're just like, what, you just like computers? Yeah. And you're like, okay, I guess that makes sense. That's fine. Then when I came out to LA, I thought, well, like everybody's going to be as into it as I am. Not really. Right. And there are many directors, people that wanted to be directors that I know that came out and then found out that this is an unpleasant job unless you are willing to work as a team super hard.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
I think I think it's Guillermo del Toro. It's it's like changed my perspective. Mm-hmm. It's a great quote where he says, it's on something, and I think it was about Frankenstein. They said, "Oh, you lost this guy. Were you worried?" And he goes, "No." So he said, "No." He said, "To me, filmmaking is I lose this actor, this thing falls apart, the location goes away, the money falls. That's the movie." Exactly. He's like, that's the movie. That's exactly. And I think that you only get that with maturity as a filmmaker. Where it's because I say it to my wife all the time. She's like, "Oh, it doesn't have to be cast." I'm like, "My love, you take 135 to 250 people that all have their own plans, agenda, and life. You're trying to get them in one space to have the same vision, plus 35 vendors, plus locations, plus God knows what's going on. And the fact
plus insurance, plus unions,
plus like some dog, plus a neighbor.
Yeah, exactly.
The fact that anything ever gets made is an insanity. But when everyone's together, which we've all felt of like, excited to create this thing. It is truly magical. Yeah. But it is, you have to love it. Yeah. Because to get there
it's almost impossible. Yeah.
It's almost impossible. Yeah. And when it falls apart, if you don't have that Guillermo del Toro, like, oh wait, this is the movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
We don't have a diopter. What are we going to do? And we're going to figure it out. And we're going to, like, that's the way things get. That's where the magic happens.
Yep. That's where the greatest fulfillment happens.
And
when you solve the problem, the unsolvable problem is solved.
And it was better than what you originally thought.
Because that second day, honestly, the first day went so smoothly. The second day had some hiccups, and to me, I'm like pacing the hall, because I'm like, I hope it works. I hope it works. I hope it works. And I'm like, time's running out. We got it. Absolutely got it, and it was great. But then right after that happened, it's like, we got the last shot. And I'm sitting here, I'm on this massive high and I'm signing checks. Like,
Yeah,
left,
it's a good
you know?
time. Yes.
And I'm feeling like, yeah, look at this. It's going to be great. And it's like, we're not even close to being done. We
Yeah,
just,
no,
you know,
this
but
is-
we got it into can, you know?
This is just the gathering footage part of the show.
Yeah.
That's all you're doing. Yeah, it's just fucking crazy, man.
Yeah.
It's great.
And so anyway, it is a great thing. Like I said, I love working with you guys. So it's like, super exciting. And I do think, you know, like private equity funding films, us trying to be an independent film studio, what we're trying to create here. And I think that this is the right moment in time, right? I think there's a lot of things that need to be done. There's a lot of reasons I brought up all those other subjects, including the, the Odyssey and A24 is like, I think that we can thread that line. We can see the benefits of doing everything effectively, doing as much stuff as we can in camera, even though we come from visual effects, and just knowing how to solve the problems so that we can make a film for like a $5 million budget and succeed.
Yep.
So.
Well,
Yeah, and look, here's the one thing I'll say about the time and the art in the studio is like, to me, there's a lot happening in the world right now. Regardless of what you're painting, there's so much happening in the world. But art, whether if it's from like old Greek theater, has always been a mirror of humanity, and artist's job is to bring humanity to the people, whether it's the good side of it, the bad side of it, the all side of it. And that's our job. Our job is to put a mirror up and say, let's look at this, or let's take a break from this and remember how good we are, or have all of that. And that's what's so exciting about indie filmmakers.
Yep.
Because that is generally, if you're going to go through the mess of making a movie, you got something to say, which listening to you guys, I mean, even today, we spent like 3-4 hours about like, what are we saying?
Yeah. What's the hard
we're
part?
going.
What is your guys'
We're
vision
going
of
over the
movie?
script. I mean, it's obviously we've gone through some very versions, and the script is actually very far along, obviously. But it was like just figuring out the tone and the message and the theme, and we're getting there. And we're starting to realize, like, oh my God, our theme is so relevant to today, even though we're creating a Western, right? Yeah. Which that's why we love Westerns, because Westerns are, speaking of the Odyssey, they are the American mythology.
Absolutely.
Right? They are the thing there. And the mythology is really a fantasy story that is a reflection of the real world. Right? That gives you context and moral ground to tell your stories. Like the best way to tell someone what they're doing is to give them a metaphor, and therefore,
I don't know who said this to me, but someone referred to Westerns as the American Lord of the Rings. And I'm just like, yeah, it's basically what it is. It's like, this is a made-up landscape of metaphors that we all sort of understand now. Like, we understand what Westerns are, even though we also know that none of that happened that way whatsoever. Yeah. Right? But we all agree to tell stories in this format so we can communicate these ideas that we really find important in our lives. Right. And so, like, when we were hammering on the on the script this morning, it's just like feeling the meaning come into tighter and tighter and tighter focus. Like that is like, and we got to the point where, like I got choked up while we were talking about it. Like that's when you're on it.
Both of you guys were crying when we were talking about the script.
This is
so we succeeded.
100% not true.
I'll take the hit.
Both of you guys were crying.
That is when you know.
I've cried once in my life.
And wait, it was not this morning. It wasn't about this. It wasn't about
when I was 2.
Yeah, that's that. Because I was hungry. Yeah. But like it's the David Lynch line I keep on saying. It's like your job when you're making a movie is to know when it's right. Right. And that's at least you're a divining rod for that. Yeah. And if you are vibrating with emotion when you're talking about the story you want to tell, then you're on it. Then you're doing the right.
Yep. Yeah. All right. Thank you guys so much. I know, Ron, you got to go off to a screening any minute now, so I'm going to let you guys go. But thanks. Awesome, guys. And catch up more on people, what's going on. And Ron, you're going to come back many times.
Rock and roll.
Rock and roll, dude. Excellent.